What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we have some Destiny 2 news to talk about, and this is going to be regarding the Warmind expansion and the May update. So Bungie actually posted this week at Bungie a little bit early this week, and they give us an exotic preview of the Skyburners Oath as well as the Rat King, and then they talk more about the Graviton Lance preview that they gave us yesterday. On top of this, they confirm the new power level that we'll see inside of the Warmind expansion, and how power levels the power cap is going to change going forward, and a couple of other things, so let's get into it. So John Wisniewski from the Sandbox team comes in to talk about some of the exotic changes. Of course, we did see a preview of the Graviton Lance already. This thing is looking really strong with some of the upgrades that we'll be seeing in May. John Wisniewski did say a while back, I talked about Graviton Lance and how one of the main areas to improve was the lack of utility within a pretty successful show of spectacle. And he goes on to say Skyburner's Oath almost has the opposite problem. It's a comparatively strong weapon, effective at multiple ranges, strong in ADS and from hip, with varying fire rates. However, it lacks spectacle to give it that exotic feeling. It kind of plays like any other gun. To address this, we started with giving the projectiles explosive rounds as their default impact response. In ADS, the weapon will perform the same, full auto, slow firing, and high impact. And Bungie actually give us this clip to take a look at, so here is a preview of the new Skyburner's Oath. So John Wisniewski says, when firing from the hip, Skyburner's Oath now lobs slower projectiles at a faster rate of fire that tracks targets and explodes. The tracking functionality tends to draw projectiles to center mass rather than to precision regions, so we reduce the precision scaler a bit and increase the damage to body, and precision hits still do bonus damage and overall DPS is increased. The end result is a dual utility weapon that fires hit scan, high damage projectiles while aiming down sights, and rapid fire lobbed exploding tracking projectiles from the hip. It almost feels like a rapid fire grenade launcher that can transition to a precision death dealer with the press of a button. So I think that's definitely a really cool change to the Skyburner's Oath. I really like that kind of reticle that they give it when you hip fire as well. Of course, we'll have to get our hands on it and see what kind of utilities it has, but I think it's certainly looking pretty awesome from this preview. He goes on to say, next up is Rat King, which already has something of a fan base, but definitely has room to improve. Of the stats that improve with more fireteam members running Rat King, the strongest is probably the increased rate of fire. Unfortunately, the DPS potential is hard to realize because some people just can't physically pull the trigger fast enough to cash in on this benefit. To make sure this is both felt and used, we made Rat King full auto to ensure the rate of fire increase can make a difference when running in a pack. And so we get a preview of the Rat King right here. As we can see, the weapon fires immensely quickly right now. It's pretty ridiculous. He goes on to say another pain point was that the restriction of having Rat Pack only activate when allies have Rat King equipped in hand felt a bit too situational. The Rat Pack perk now triggers when fireteam members have Rat King slotted as their kinetic weapon, stowed or in hand. We also front-loaded the stat benefits of Rat King so that they increase a bit more drastically with 1 or 2 fireteam members and up to the base invisibility timer. Last but not least, and not to overly tease, but why not? I'm going to tease. The Masterwork upgrade for Rat King is going to put a tasty garnish on this meal that you won't want to miss out on. So really interesting stuff. Obviously, Rat King is getting one hell of a buff there. And of course, we have reference for the Masterwork upgrade for Rat King as well. I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly what that is. But they do say we will get more of these previews and more insights next week during the reveal stream for the Warmind DLC. And I'll go over that in just a moment. But let me know your thoughts about those exotic buffs, guys. Definitely interesting stuff. But next we have some new information about the power level cap that we'll see inside of Warmind, and how power level is going to change a little bit inside of this update. And so they say with the release of Destiny 2 Expansion 2 Warmind, we're making some changes to the size and frequency of upgrades. These changes will apply to all of Destiny 2 and not just the Warmind endgame content. Our goals with this change are to bring back meaning and accomplishment to achieve the power cap, to give players a sense of progression when they come back to play each week, and to reward players who engage in broader scope of Destiny Destiny 2's endgame content, we've made an effort to de-emphasize grinding public events for exotics and to reduce the impact of clan engrams on endgame progression. But before we get into specifics, I want to define a couple of terms so we're on common ground. Soft cap is the point you climb to easily via drops from any source, and the hard cap is the power level you can obtain from weekly reward sources. The soft cap for Warmind is 340 and the hard cap is 380. So there's going to be a pretty significant jump right there up to 380 power. It goes on to say that these numbers don't consider any +5 mods. Remember that all drops are calculated using your best possible power regardless of if you have gear equipped or not. Our target is that players who participate in all of the weekly activities should take several weeks to reach the hard cap. Raids and trials grant the largest increases, clan engrams provide a very small increase, and the other weekly sources fall between those two. Players who don't participate in any group weekly activities are unlikely to hit the hard cap before the next release, but dedicated omnivore players will hit it before players that just play raids or trials exclusively. Additionally, the final 10 points from 370 to 380 will be significantly slower than 340 to 370, and we expect it to take players roughly equal time to go from 340 to 370 as from 370 to 380. We decided to make this change because climbing to 370 allows you to tackle endgame content without suffering a severe underlevel penalty, but creates a significant accomplishment in achieving 380. So that's actually quite a lot of change right there. Basically, the best way, or the route that's actually going to guarantee you to that cap eventually, is going to be by completing all different types of content in D2. It's interesting that they say players that just play raids or trials exclusively will actually take longer than, players who are playing all kinds of content. So you have to let me know what you think about that, but 385 with mods will be the new power level inside of the Warmind expansion. It goes on to say though, clan engrams offer excellent upgrades while a player is climbing to the soft cap. They should grant rewards on an average of 15 power higher than your current best possible level when you're on the way there. This will help players catch up with their clanmates who are completing weekly activities. Once you've achieved the soft cap, your progress is going to rely a lot more on your own achievements. Clan engrams above the soft cap will grant gear only 0 to 2 points above your best possible level. In an effort to combat exploits around creating new characters to take advantage of one-time quest rewards, we've decided to limit those rewards to the soft cap for the release that they first appeared in. This means D2 launch quests cap at 260 before mods, Curse of Osiris caps at 300, and Warmind will cap at 340. To compensate for their caps, they'll give you a large boost of 15 power when you earn them as long as you're below that cap. Farming exotics to increase your power has been removed. If they drop from a non-weekly source, they'll come out of the engram at the same power as a legendary, and we believe the changes to quest rewards and exotic farming will ensure the most effective way to reach the power cap is to play the most challenges and social weekly activities. So definitely a substantial set of changes there to how power level is going to work. Essentially, you won't be able to kind of ride clan engrams all the way to 380, or at least if you try to do that, it's going to take a very, very long time. Equally, not playing a variety of content is going to mean that you're going to take quite a bit longer, but in general, achieving that maximum power level is going to be quite a bit more prestigious according to what Bungie are saying. We'll have to see how it plays out, but also I'll be curious to hear what you guys think about this stuff. Do you find that encouraging as a hardcore player, or do you think that's going to kind of set you back if you don't have the time to play as much? I'd definitely be curious to hear what you guys think. Bungie do talk about the fact that they have the Bungie Summit going on this week, and of course people will be given feedback on content coming further down the road and capturing content for the Warmind expansion, but Bungie do say we have more lined up for you next week during the stream. Join us on April 24th at 10 AM PDT on Twitch to see Warmind and Season 3. So bear that in mind, that is when we will get the reveal, and I will keep you guys posted on all of the details. Finally though, Derek Carroll from the Crucible team does reiterate, as you may have read last week, we're changing the way Crucible playlists work when Season 3 launches alongside the new expansion Warmind. Beginning on May 8th, Destiny 2 players will be able to compete in any of the Crucible maps we put on our match-made playlists. This is with the exception to timed exclusives, so the PlayStation maps, but he says we believe this will be a big win for everyone since players will no longer need to choose between playing in a limited DLC playlist to see the new stuff and playing in a mainstream playlist to get the largest pool of opponents and maps. So I think that's definitely a positive change. But guys, those exotic changes are looking really, really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what other stuff they've been working on and how any of the new exotics pan out as well. We could be seeing some pretty powerful stuff, but I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. As always, if you have, a like is very much appreciated below. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. But for now, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you very soon.